Hey students, we're going to look at an American favorite today, Edgar Allan Poe. So Poe wrote a lot of poems, and he was a Gothic emo guy, married his cousin Virginia Clem, who died later of tuberculosis. So he writes a lot of sad, twisted stories about dead lovers. The Raven is no exception, so we're going to play with the musicality of his creation. So this is a little poem about a guy who's chilling in his house, and it's about midnight, and he's been really sad because his dead lover, Lenore, is not there with him, so he's been trying to forget about her. Before cell phones, he couldn't play games or anything, so he's, of course, reading books, which is what people should do. So he reads books, and he's about to fall asleep, and somebody knocks on the door. He's like, "What's up?" So he opens the door, and he's like, "Lenore, is it you, baby?" But he knows she's dead. So it's not her, but this creepy bird, a raven, let's pretend this is a really big ebony bird, rolls up in his crib, and it's kind of bougie, a little extra. This bird has an attitude, and it just sits there saying nevermore the whole time. It's creepy. So the guy goes crazy more than he already was. So here we go. Ready? Okay. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I pondered nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. All distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books her cease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, and certain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." Some like visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, your forgiveness I implore." But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there. Nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was a whispered name, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore," for merely this, nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, nothing more." Open here I flung a shutter, then with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed, but with mien and Florida lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast above the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But that raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word as if his soul, and that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On that morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before." And the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by some reply so aptly spoken, doubtless said I, "What it utters is only stock and store, call from some unhappy master, whom a merciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs my burden bore, till the dirges of his hope the melancholy burden bore of nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of burden busting door. Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim and ghastly and gamely, ghastly, gone, and almost bird of yore, and croaking, nevermore. This I said, engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I said, defining, when my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but that violet lining that the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press. Oh, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he has sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from the memories of Lenore. Quaff and quaff this kind of nepenthe, and forget the lost Lenore, quoth the raven. Nevermore. Prophet said, I think of evil, prophet still of bird or devil, rather tempter, sinner, weather, tempest, tossy here ashore. Desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me truly, I implore, quoth the raven. Nevermore. Prophet said, I think of evil, prophet still of bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Till this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aiden, it shall clasp a saint and maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, quoth the raven. Nevermore. Be that word of sign our parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked of start, and get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonium shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take that peak from out my heart, and take that corn from off my floor. Cloak the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never fleeting, still was sitting on the pallid busted palace just above my chamber door. And his eyes of all the seeming of the demons that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws a shadow on the floor, and my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted.